Hello everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of I Cast Fireball, an actual play 5e D&D adventure where we go through the campaign Tyranny of Dragons. I'm Thomas, and I'm your DM for this adventure. Around the table, we've got
Malamara,
Lance Stalin,
and still Fleeple, still doing this voice. Ha 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 ha.
Well, on that note, last we left our adventurers, they had successfully infiltrated at least the opening of the cave into this hidden den that the Cult of Dragons had recently called home since the orcs had burned down the rest of the tents in the caldera. Using Fleeple's high passive perception, they found that there was a secret passage behind some rocks. Malamara, cleverly using Zaza as an imp, where they can turn into a creature and then also turn invisible, sent Zaza down the corridor, finding the empty treasure room, but also a room filled with 11 individuals. Between them and their final destination, Fulan Mondath, alone in her chambers. Saying that they didn't want to take on 11 mercenaries or cultists all at once, they decided to search around the rest of the cave, the rest of the hideout here, to see if there was a separate entrance into Mondath's chambers directly. After quietly and stealthily making their way through the bats and the natural fungi that had been growing there, Lance decided to go a little bit ahead and was able to identify a pit with some very hardy drakes and a couple of kobolds just chittering and chattering away. Fleeple, joining Lance, was able to identify a trap in between the two corridors, warning Malamara about that. They then initiated a battle. After quickly dispatching of them, one kobold did get away, and Lance, pursuing after that kobold, without knowing it, pulled a Harrison Ford, where he eliminated the final kobold from their massive battle, only to have this room open up with about 13 kobolds. It seems that Lance had found their main den for this pack of kobolds here. Malamar and Fleeple coming down the steps and joining Lance. This is where we join our adventurers. And so, Fleeple, Lance, Mal, if you recall, we had just ended the round of combat. So, jumping into the top of the initiative order here, we've got some of the other winged kobolds that had mingled themselves amongst the regular kobolds further into the chamber. Fleeple, these are about 20 feet from your direction, from where you currently are at. One of them points to you and goes, in Draconic, "Yo, you brought us nothing but betrayal and pain. They punished us for your treachery." And this kobold is actually going to just spend its turn saying that and backing up a little bit into the corner and says, "Everyone, do not let him escape, him or his friends." There's another winged kobold very near you. It's going to fly over, and it's going to try and rake its claws at you. It does have advantage because of pack tactics. Okay, is that a 23 to hit?
That'll do it.
Okay, a 23 hits. It is going to just use its claws and rake at you. Only 4 points of piercing damage on that, Fleeple.
All right, still alive.
Okay. Then it goes to a kobold. This female one has been injured about 20 feet and is going to run over to the other winged kobold that had backed up further into the corner, kind of put herself between you and the party and this kobold that ordered them to take hold of you, okay? Now, the other kobold just a normal kobold directly in front of you, Fleeple, is going to snarl and it's going to reach out with you again, this time with a dagger. Does a 9 hit your armor class?
9 misses.
With pack tactics, rolled a 1 and a 4.
Booyah.
So, this one ranges out, and you, being very bloody, you're very aware, and so you just like hold up your arms and just, as he comes at you, you stop him, like you put your hand in his armpit to stop the blade from coming down on you and just try to push him back. Well done, having a AC that's higher than 9.
I did so much to prevent that attack from hitting me.
Bravo! Got another winged kobold here. It's just going to pick up a rock, going to chuck it at you. This one, also with pack tactics. Does a 16 hit your armor class?
16 is my armor class.
Ooh, just barely. Okay, so this rock is going to come at you, and only 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
All right, and Fleeple is unconscious.
Down.
Ooh, okay.
Crap.
Oh, I thought you still had one. I thought that was 1 hit point. Sorry.
All right. And just as this kobold chucks the rock, Lance, you see Fleeple go unconscious right in front of you, surrounded by 4 other kobolds, 2 of them winged, 2 of them not. There's one within 5 feet of you that is not aware of your presence, a winged kobold, and then one 10 feet away from you, currently engaged with Malamara. It is your turn. What do you do?
Plan B. All right. We, meaning me, Lance will... Okay. What Lance is going to do is... This kobold in front of me who doesn't know I'm there, am I able to go through them toward Fleeple? Or do I have to go all the way around them in terms of space?
What I think is fair is if you do go through them, you could use takes 5 extra feet of movement. So if you want to pass through an enemy, I think unless it's like they're a huge monstrosity or really little, I think just an extra 5 feet of movement to kind of like juke around them. They might still get an attack of opportunity because the moment you move, you expose yourself to them.
Okay. All right. This is what Lance is going to do. Lance, seeing Fleeple fall and having a flood of just guilt and anxiety and a lot of past experiences all of a sudden popping up in his mind, just thinks, like, to himself, he just thinks, "You're doing it again. You're getting people killed." And he will bonus action disengage. With that, he will run toward Fleeple, which, with disengage, no one can attack of opportunity him. So through the kobold is 5, 10, 15. I'm right next to Fleeple here then.
Great.
I am on Fleeple's right.
As you're about to run, you whisper that to yourself, and you just feel the blood. And your vision starts to go a little bit like, it's almost like in the movies where it goes wide from full screen to widescreen. Your vision just focuses on a Fleeple, and you just start bobbing and weaving, and without even thinking, you just roll past this kobold. The kobold's in your way, and you get right next to Fleeple. What do you do?
I pick him up.
All right. You pick him on up.
Is that an action to pick him up? I've used my bonus action already.
Yes, I would say...
I do only weigh 35 pounds.
Yeah, I normally I would say, but since he's such a small creature, I would say no, you could easily pick him up. We'll say, I'll allow you to use some of your movement to do that and just pick him up. I mean, you still have an action.
Okay, for that, so I've moved 5, 10, 15, another 20 to pick him up, I guess.
Yep, so you have 10 feet of movement, we'll say.
All right, I'm going to use that 10 feet, and then with my action, 30 more feet, and book it to the stairs carrying Fleeple out of the chamber. And as I'm running, I am going to shout at Malamara. Wait, okay. Mickey, remind me, have we seen you in your multi-class yet?
No.
We have not. Okay, so I wouldn't say that, what I was originally planning. So I pick up Fleeple, or Lance picks up Fleeple. He's running toward the stairs. He just shouts back at Mal. "Malamara, we need a shield. Block them from coming up here."
Okay, so running up the steps, 5, 10, 15, 20. One spot is difficult terrain, so 25, 30, 35, 40. The remainder of your movement, you get right next to the unconscious kobold who is tied up in the upper portion. You are past the trap. You are in the other room with the pit of the drakes just nearby, with Fleeple unconscious in your arms, slowly bleeding. And that is your turn, I believe. Okay, Malamara. Having Lance just screamed this at you, it is your turn.
All right. DM, can I use the optional cleave rules in the manual?
Oh, yes. We can use the optional cleave. For our listeners, in the Dungeon Master Guide, there is an optional rule for cleaving to where when you do a melee attack and you have multiple enemies nearby, if you would do excess damage on one of the enemies, the remainder of that damage can go through to another enemy, like you were cleaving through the first enemy.
Isn't that usually for like smaller creatures?
Yeah, so it's usually for like low-level creatures and such, but that's just way... none of your damage gets wasted, so to speak.
All right, great. So there's a kobold directly in front of me, and there's a kobold right to my right. So I'm going to bonus action. I still have that hex active, So I'm going to move that hex to the kobold in front of me. I'm going to attempt to slice through him and hopefully be able to get the next guy.
Sounds good. So do you want to get the winged one with hex or the regular one right next to you?
I'll move it to the winged one, and I'll go for him first and try and slice into the other one.
Sounds good. So as you prepare your attack, you just... And as you breathe in, the darkness swells around you. And then as you just yell, yeah! Hex almost like erupts from your mouth and just attaches itself onto this winged kobold, dampening its wings and like making a muffled sound like... What was your attack, Malamara?
21.
All right, that's a hit.
out
Go and do
swinging.
damage.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. She will take out her long sword. I forgot to say this before. That great sword with the engravings along the side. And she will do 10 slashing damage with an extra 4 necrotic.
Okay, so 14 total. Okay. As you whip out this sword, this is the one that with the bandage all across it, right? As this winged kobold's looking at the darkness surrounding itself, it doesn't see the sword as it comes at him. Immediately impacts the side of him, and as soon as it does, there's no other way to describe it. Just the magic of the sword somehow can cut right through the body, even being bandaged as it is. And as it does, it is a clean slice, like a hot knife against butter. Just the kobold doesn't even have time to react to it. And as you swing through this kobold, the darkness which was surrounding the kobold, it actually passes through the kobold and imbues itself into your sword to where when you go directly next to the other kobold, this kobold does see it coming, but unfortunately doesn't have time to react to where the darkness jumps from your sword into it and just sucks the life out of it. And just as it's releasing its final breath, you jam the sword directly into it. Both kobolds extinguished.
Oh, that cleave is so cool. Okay, great. So with that, Malamara will turn around and she'll take 5 steps closer so that she's kind of covering more where the wall turns into to follow the men, and that Hex will come up behind her and just be very like an intimidating presence waiting to be called upon again, and just hold that sword and hold that ground with the dead kobolds behind her to try and keep the kobolds at least there, or at least too many of them from running by.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead and roll an intimidation check, Mal. I just got goosebumps.
13.
13. Yeah, that was sick. Do you already have inspiration?
You already gave her an inspiration die.
Oh, dang it.
Wow, favoritism much? Oh my gosh. We know who's the new favorite now. Gosh dang.
Well, I was going to give you an inspiration die, but yeah. Yeah.
Here, now I'll write down. That was a good reason for an inspiration die.
Well, there you go. Yeah, so as you stand between the 2 men that had run behind you, having cleaved through these 2 kobolds, you just stand there with your blade out, the blood dripping off of these bandages, and the kobolds, they just see this dark entity rise behind you. And most of them, well, let's roll, actually. Let's see.
Did you hear that, Ned? We're men.
No, but we're men.
We're men, manly men.
And most of these kobolds that are directly in front of you, they pause, and 2 of them even start to take a step back, and like clutch at their swords and their daggers. I believe that's your go, Mal.
Yes, it is.
Great. It was Tommy Wiseau's turn, but he's unconscious, so... The kobold, which is a distance away from you, Mal, it's going to shakily grab a rock and try and chuck it at you. This one failed, and so I'm going to give it a disadvantage because it is fearful of your presence. Rolled a 17 and a 19, so 22 hits.
Yes.
Yeah. And this one's going to be 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And it yells something in Draconic. And you don't understand it, so... It's the 2 dead kobolds' turns that you just took care of, which now we're going to jump to Fleeple. Fleeple, roll me a death saving throw, please.
Say 15.
15, that's 1 success. 1 of 3 successes. Now, Mal, it's the kobold directly in front of you. And just to remind everybody here, there are 4 kobolds, like, directly in front of you. 2 of them winged, 2 of them regular. And this one is actually going to try and stab you with its dagger, also with disadvantage here.
So yeah, just to be clear, Thomas, we have 4 that are right near Malamara, right in front of her. We have 5 kind of in more of the back of the chamber.
Yes, that's correct. Okay. So a total of 9 alive kobolds as of right now.
All right.
Mal, does a 16 hit?
It does not.
Oh, really?
My armor class is 17. Ooh, Barbarian.
Nice. There you go.
Hashtag spoiler alert.
Hashtag spoilers.
Hashtag spoilers.
I haven't raged yet.
Yeah, you have, that's where you're going to give it away.
Well, this kobold is frightful, and it is going to try and run away from you. You do have an attack of opportunity if you'd like to take it, Mal.
I won't take it on him.
Okay, sounds good. So it's going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So now there's a winged kobold directly in front of you. It's going to also roll with disadvantage here. A 7 doesn't hit, I imagine.
No, it does not.
And it is also going to try and fly away from you. You have an attack of opportunity against this one if you'd like.
I will let him.
Okay, 20, 25, 30. Great. Directly back. Mal, just so you're aware, this one is the only one that you would get an attack of opportunity against.
The next winged one? Oh, no, that one.
This...
But
yes,
if any move past me, I would get an attack of opportunity.
That's true. If they go up the steps.
That's really what I'm waiting for, is not away from me, but past
apologies.
Me.
Yes.
You're fine.
Apologies.
See, Thomas is just trying to make you fail. He's like, are you sure? You
Are you sure? Are you sure? Want to take it?
You don't want to follow my plan? With that, kobold, it is the end of the round there. So we're going back up to the top to the one that originally had yelled orders out and is in the far back corner next to some of the sleeping bags and some of the material here. And it's going to yell in common. And in common, it goes, "Get! Face one!" Yeah, that's all it's going to do. That's all that one's going to do. The one directly in front of you, Mal, the winged kobold, this one is going to try and fly past you up the stairs. So it's going to flap, and it's going to try and go above you. However, it's a really low ceiling here, so it has to fly directly above you. So regardless, it's going to try and make its way past you. So 5, 10, 15, 20. You do have an attack of opportunity that you are allowed to take. I'm giving you permission.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
I'm giving you permission.
Thank you, DM. Thank you.
Hashtag DM flex.
Thank you, DM.
Oh, no. That was a 3. Plus 4 is 7.
Lance, as you're at the top of the steps here with Fleeple and you're like catching your breath, you hear, and this winged kobold flies directly next to you and can't do anything. It uses action and bonus and movement to get there, but it is right next to you. So that's its turn.
Alrighty. Dang it, that ruined my plan.
The other kobolds, Mal, there's still one right next to you. It's going to roll with disadvantage. 15 to hit.
Does not hit.
All right, so this one does have a sling. And you just block it, parry it with your sword as you see it coming. And just... and it runs away. Some of these other kobolds, not as frightened by you because they can't see the dark entity around you, sees the other kobolds running to the back of the room, and they realize it's their time to step up, so they're going to just start charging you. So, 5, 10, 15, 20... This one does not have pack tactics, but still going to take a regular roll at you. A 15 again, so that misses, unfortunately. Takes out its dagger, and you just snarl at it and just grab its arm and kind of shove it forcefully away from you. Another one, this one, frightened still, is going to try and roll a ranged attack, chuck a rock at you. Would be with disadvantage, but due to pack tactics, just a regular roll. However, only rolls a 13. So... not doing anything there. Okay, not great here. This winged kobold...
What are you talking about, not great? This is great.
Oh, that's true. Don't say that.
This is beautiful.
Don't say that.
One winged kobold on the edge of the room looks at the ones that are afraid and goes... and just flies towards you, and this time, with advantage, is going to slash with its claws directly at your face. 23 to hit?
That hits.
That is going to be... only 3 points of piercing damage. And then at that, we cut away from the bottom of the steps here and we go up to Lance. Lance, Fleeple's behind you, trying to rouse himself. Like this winged kobold is directly in front of you. It's your turn.
All right, I'm going to take out my short sword and dagger and in Draconic say, "Get out of here."
Yep.
On brand.
Okay.
That's right.
Yep.
Sunbrand. All right, short sword. Ooh, that might not hit. We'll see. That is a 12.
12 is a miss.
Oh, man. Dang. All right, well, that was with the short sword. I still have a dagger. So I'm gonna use my bonus action to... Or no. Is that a bonus? Yeah, that is a bonus action.
Yeah,
right?
it is a bonus
Yes.
action.
Okay, I'm gonna use the bonus action to just attack with the dagger. Try and get something out of this guy. Okay, that will hit, because that's a 17.
17 does hit.
Well, that's a 4.
Ooh, very nice. Max damage on that dagger there. The first one, it flaps its wings and it confuses you. The short sword misses, and it flies in and leers at you. And it's about to say something, and you just right in its side. Still up, but you pull the dagger out, bloodied, and just stand between you and Fleeple, holding your ground. You do have movement.
No, I will not move.
All right, stand your ground. Malamara, it's your turn.
I bonus action hide. I'm sorry.
Behind Fleeple's corpse.
Prop the fleece
Just
up.
underneath the fleece, just
This small creature.
Yep.
All right, Mal, what do you do?
Mal will take a 5-foot step forward, and now she's directly between two of the kobolds, and she's going to do basically the same thing. That hex will swirl around her and attach onto the kobold to her left.
The winged kobold.
The winged kobold, thank you. And I will try to cleave through that one into the next one.
Okay, so confidence, this black entity swirling behind you. These otherworldly noises and voices reaching out to the kobolds. They shrink back a little bit in fear, but try to stand their ground. And as you just step in between them, you look to one, and then you quickly look at the winged kobold, and the blackness attaches. Go ahead and roll your attack.
A 15.
15 hits.
Awesome. Kobolds. They're not super hard to hit. 6, 7, 8. 8 slashing and 5 necrotic.
Mickey, tell us how it is done with both of these.
Taking that greatsword in both of her hands, she will brandish it over her head, and as it just comes down, it just slices by the one on the left and across to the one on the right, taking off both of their heads right at their shoulders, and their bodies collapse down, and that black entity will then rise off of the fallen kobold's body and surround her again. She'll shake off the blood on the blade and then hold it in front of her ready, keeping the kobolds from passing her again, just standing as that shield ready for an attack.
Without issue, you're so familiar with this blade, it's as if it's holding nothing. It's as if it's not really as large as it actually quite is. And as you hold it, you look to the rock wall right next to you, and as you look at the rock wall, you notice this huge gash that is a result of your blade swinging directly through the rock face, about the width of your blade. Bandages unmarred, blade still as sharp as ever, and you just kind of chuckle to yourself, and you stare at all of the kobolds. Without a roll, the rest of these kobolds, seeing two of their compatriots fall to this, and this dark entity. Lance, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
me.
Yeah.
All right, perception. Oh, that's not bad. That's going to be a non-natural 20.
Even though you're in this battle, and even though you're worried about Fleeple, you just hear this echoing from the room below. And Mal, you are very familiar with this sound, and these kobolds, they shrink in fear, all of them having the feared condition instilled within themselves. They just shy away and you feel just a surge of confidence well up inside of you.
There's something else here. There's something else here. That's what Lance says.
Oh no! These kobolds are gonna try and just chuck rocks at you, but being fearful, they all have disadvantage here. So got a 7 for one of the winged kobolds.
Miss.
Yeah, this one's gonna try and do a sling here. 12 to hit.
Miss.
Winged kobold chucks another rock at you. 10 to hit.
Miss.
And they are just not getting at you. So all of these kobolds chucking slings, chucking rocks, trying to hit you. 2 more. That's a natural 1 for one of them, and then the other one gets a 14 to try and hit. Both of them a miss. All of them just cowering in front of their leader here, so to speak. And their leader going, just yelling in Draconic, and just tries to push some of them forward in front of them. All of them just cowering away from you. Fleeple, I need another death saving throw, please.
A 12.
There you go.
12, 2 successes.
That's good.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay, just need 1 more success, and then you are stabilized. Jumping back to the top here, the Lance, this kobold directly in front of you, unaware of what's going on, unafraid, is going to actually not attack you. It's going to, within your range, go over to Fleeple, take its action to pick Fleeple up, and it's going to try and fly away with Fleeple. With Fleeple, they will be encumbered because they're the same size, so they will have half movement. So they do 10 feet to get to Fleeple, pick them up, and so then they only have 10 feet, so they only get back to where they started. They never leave your attack of opportunity range, so you are unable to attack them, but they are directly in front of you with Fleeple, and they are trying to fly down. Sorry, scratch that. Directly next to you, holding Fleeple. That's it. My bad. But Lance, it is immediately your turn.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm gonna I have my short sword and my dagger out. I'm gonna attack him with both those weapons again.
Go for it.
Oh, suck. Short sword, same numbered roll as the last time. 12.
Oh, for 12, that's a miss.
So dagger-wise, that'll hit. 21.
21 is a hit. Go and roll damage.
That's a 1.
1 point of damage. Okay. This kobold, you stab in the same exact spot. So he goes, "Oh, I'm just trying to do my job." Okay, Lance, that's your turn. You have some movement if you wanted to take it.
All right. You want to tango, bud? Let's tango. I'm going to stay within his range and circle around to the other side of the stairs.
So you're kind of flip-flopping. Very good, very good. Mal, it's your go.
Mal will move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 straight across the room into a pocket that the kobolds have created in the back of this cavern.
Okay, as you just slowly step, you advance towards them.
You mean she backs into the room?
Lance, do you have inspiration dice?
I have one, yeah.
I will take it away.
Oh, no!
The DM giveth, the DM can take it.
No, so Mal, as you slowly just walk into this room, this entity licking the wall, the torchlight in this room getting dim the further you walk into it, all of the kobolds. You pass one before you get into the major throng here, and it tries to swipe at you leaving its range. Takes an attack of opportunity against you. Mal, does an 18 hit?
An 18 does.
Oh, okay, so it's going to do just dagger damage here. 3 points of piercing damage. All right. And Mal, you are in this throng here.
Mal will take the sword in one hand. With the other, she will cast Arms of Hadar and slam it into the ground. And it should catch every creature within 10 feet, which I think should be all 5 of those kobolds.
It should be all 6 of the kobolds, for sure. Yes. The 6 remaining ones are 10 feet within 10 feet of you. Yes. So as all of them just stare at you, daggers out, swords out, some of them with rocks, you just look around and just the darkness, just everything goes quiet for a moment. You slam your hands into the ground and these tendrils just erupt from the stone surface, the laughter echoing in this chamber. They all have to make strength saving throws?
They all make, strength saving throws. They have to beat a 12.
Okay. 12. Here we go. Okay. Fail. Success. Success. Fail. Fail. Success. Okay. So 3 successes, 3 failures.
The successes, nothing happens. The failures take 13 points of necrotic damage.
Ooh. Okay.
I just like how Mal's like, cleaving heads! And I'm like, stab this guy with a dagger.
I'm just dreaming about cheese.
And yeah, Fleeple's just like, Fleeple's back, like he owns the tavern now, and he's like,
He owns the winged dragon.
Owns the winged dragon, serving cheese.
Bevan's like, how may I assist you, Fleeple, sir?
I need some fan art of
That's Fleeple's
Fleeple on the
dream.
bar, and he has like a lei that's like off to the side. And
He's singing while people pay him for going
What
to
a
this
wonderful
place.
dream. All right, so the 3 that fail all had full health. One of them was a winged kobold, the 2 regulars, and the tendrils just grasp around them. They're unable to escape these tendrils. The other 3, so taken in fear, they just back away before the tendrils can grab onto them. It just reaches out, and they're just... And the 3 that get grasped, you just see that the color, this reddish, their red scales immediately just get drained from a red to a gray. And that gray almost to a white even, like a chalky substance. And just all 3 that were successfully grabbed, eliminated from the battle. Just sucked up. And as done previously, the tendrils just seemed like they're about to let them go before they suck them immediately into the stone floor. Just they disappear from the room entirely, completely gone.
And then, with a bonus action,
Okay,
'cause I haven't taken that yet,
that's correct.
I will put a hex on. There's a winged dragon right to my right, I don't know, and then one right in front of it. I'll do the one that's more at a diagonal from me.
Great, sounds good. So this one is looking a little bit healthier, although fearful, definitely not damaged, unlike the other one, which is very bloodied and is holding its side from some of the damage that it's taken. So you get the one that has more vitality, shall we say.
And I'm actually going to take I have 5 feet left. I'm going to take a 5-foot step toward it, which is not out of melee range of the one I just moved away from.
Correct, all right. And you just grin as the darkness keeps surrounding it. I mean, that was a good turn.
Yeah.
That was a good turn, Mal.
Very, very good turn.
Mal's having a great
So-
turn.
I had my husband help me strategize this out.
Nice.
What are you talking about? This is totally improvised at the moment.
Super improvised. We had no plan B. That wasn't code for anything.
So this a kobold that's more weak, more damage next to you, just almost half-heartedly just tries to scratch at you, Mal. Just single roll here. 18 does hit you,
Yes.
I imagine. Yes. Okay, so it's gonna do a total of 3 points of slashing damage.
I have not taken damage this whole fight.
What do you mean?
Temporary hit points.
Oh, that's
I have not taken damage like that first turn I took a point. And I've taken, I think, I have like 4 points of damage and the rest of it's all been temporary hit points.
Dang. Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, "How's Mal doing?" But
Great.
I totally
Super
forget
good.
about the temporary hit points thing.
I did too, and
so
they
yeah,
went
this
up.
one's gonna. Yeah, and this creature is just gonna try and escape. So it's gonna fly over you, out of your attack of opportunity, back towards the cave entrance. Whether to go up the stairs or try and go a different route, you're unsure, but it is leaving your area here. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay, that's its turn. Fleeple, roll me another death saving throw, please.
Come on, baby. It's an 11.
3 successes. Fleeple is no longer dying. You are at 0 hit points. You are stable. But if you get attacked one more time, we start the process all over again.
In my dream, I just took a very nice bite of, like, a crudité that Bevan has brought to me.
Is it to your liking, Sir Fleeple?
Yes, but my toe claws are still a little bit rough. Commence the polishing, Bevan.
Oh, yes, of course. Pulls out this refined toe polish. Mal, this kobold directly in front of you is going to pull out a scimitar and is going to try and attack you. Roll double 7s. Does a 12 hit your armor class, Mal?
No.
We all know it
Thomas,
doesn't.
what is
All
going
right,
on with the rolls?
Well, they all have disadvantage because...
Oh, they're fearful.
this one's also going to try and fly away from you. This is the hexed one, Mal, and it's going to leave your area here. So
Is there any way I could take a swing at it even if it's at disadvantage?
Oh, absolutely. You don't have disadvantage, though. You have just normal. They have disadvantage because you are afraid.
I know,
They're
but I
afraid
thought
of you.
that because he was flying, I don't know. The other one didn't get a reaction, so. Oh, that was a natural 18 plus 4.
Okay.
That was 11 points, and his hex is another 2 points of necrotic.
Tell us how it is done.
As his wings come out and he starts to flap and he flies up from me, I take that sword that was in my hand and I just put it over my head, and as he's going up, he like goes through the sword and falls in 2 pieces on either side.
So you anticipate him about to fly. He's like prepping, like about to do like a Superman into the air, and as he does that, you just move your sword directly in the obstacle in front of him and just falls to the ground dead. Well done. That was a reaction. So that was his turn. We now go back to top of the round. Lance. You and this kobold, tank a win.
Oh, my kobold. I'm getting him. Mal's destroying 11. Mano y mano. All right.
It's like, please just let me pass.
All right. I got my short sword and my dagger. Let's go at it again.
He's going to leave your area.
Does he go
so
first?
You can't take a Yeah, he does go before you, so you can take an attack of opportunity against him.
I can.
You are, yes.
For some reason, I thought he went after me. That will hit with the short sword. And that is because that's going to be a 23 to hit.
That's a hit.
4 damage.
Tell us how it is done.
All right. So as he's flying past me, I'm just going to reach out, grab his wings, like the back like arc of where those 2 wing points meet. I'm going to pull him back, and as I do, I'm going to shove the short sword through his back, and I'm going to say in his, because I'm holding him close, I'm going to say in his ear in Draconic, Makdaklak, which translates to, yeah, you failed.
The worst insult to give a kobold, at least in this instance. And as this kobold just falls limp, drops Fleeple directly into your arm. So Fleeple just, without falling to the ground, almost like a child is cradled into another individual's arms, just...
It's like a Renaissance painting.
It's like the Pieta.
It's like the Pieta.
Yeah!
I'm just looking at Fleeple and Fleeple's...
That was a good reference. We could do classical art stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Look at us referencing obscure movies and Renaissance art.
From the Room to the Renaissance.
Okay, my go. Or like, what is it? The Pieta. This is like the Fleeta, the Fleeple. I don't know. All right, I'm going to, with Fleeple in my arms, I'm going to try and make sure that he's not dead, that he's not dying. I'm going to try and wake him up, basically.
Yeah, so he's like... he's definitely breathing. His blood's no longer like an issue, and you feel like his pulse is steady.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess this is me asking DM rules. Am I able to arouse... I don't have a health potion or anything. Am I able to kind of get him back up through like a medicine check or something?
Ooh.
To like a hit point where he like wakes up, or...
I believe that's a feat, isn't it?
If you can always use a healer's kit to stabilize somebody, but unless you have the healer feat specifically, you can't regain hit points.
Okay, good to know. Okay, then I can't do that. So from my steps, I don't see anybody coming up here.
Nope. There are a bunch of dead kobolds down the steps, down to the base there.
I'm just going to think to myself like, oh no, I left Malamara all alone. Oh, she's helpless. Oh, well, I mean, not helpless. She's a really cool person, but that's a lot of people to leave her with. And I'm gonna put her, I'm gonna put Fleeple kind of behind me on the stairs, and I'm gonna come down the stairs to the very base of them, to kind of create another barrier and just be on the lookout for anybody coming. And actually, you know what? I want to hold my action to attack somebody if they're coming over, but can I bonus action hide and then hold my action to possibly sneak attack them?
Absolutely.
I will do that. I'm going to bonus action hide, just kind of like Yeah, just kind of like lurking kind of behind because the stairs go at an angle, kind of like at a good angle where I'm kind of partially hidden myself, but I have a clear shot if someone's coming up toward them.
Absolutely. Go and roll a stealth check, Lance.
That is going to be a 19.
All right. And you are readying an action with your bow then?
Yes, my bow. I'm
Okay, sounds good.
sheathing the swords and the dagger and taking out the bow for it.
Excellent. So we will we'll see what occurs if anybody runs past you to trigger this action, okay? So, Mal, you're immediately next.
So, seeing this, did the winged kobold, did he land? Because you have to land when you end. You can't end a turn flying. Is he flying?
You actually can end a turn flying.
Is he flying or is he on the ground?
He is flying, yes. So you have a so just because there's been a lot of chaos and destruction in this room, you have one. You turn around and you have this one incredibly terrified kobold who is standing on a wet surface, and he's just clutching a dagger 10 feet away from you, and then there is that winged kobold that is about 20 feet from you trying to escape the room.
Is that reference to wet surface? Did he pee himself?
He is wet himself, yes.
Okay.
Now, if only all of us could just escape the room.
I don't get... he doesn't get an inspiration die. Take it away.
I don't have one.
Oh, okay.
I gave mine to Mal. Yeah.
Okay, Mal will move 5, 10, 15 feet toward the winged creature. And as she's going, she will put away her greatsword and pull out her 2 new hand axes, because I have those now. And as she's running along the ground, that hex will slither and jump from the ground up and grab that, the winged kobold. And a hand axe can be thrown. So I'm going to throw it.
Excellent. Go ahead and roll.
13.
Just hits.
Oh, I couldn't remember if they were harder or the other ones. Okay, so that's a 6 slashing and 3 necrotic.
Tell us how it's done.
Oh, dang it.
Well, me hiding's pointless.
I was going to do something else. Darn it. Okay, anyway. Exactly as I described. As I run, that hex will encompass him and squeeze his wings together, and as he's falling, the hand axe will just hit him right at the base of his neck, and he falls right in front of Mal, and she'll reach forward and pull the hand axe out of his neck.
Easily done. Easily done.
And Mal will turn to the last kobold in the room.
Yep. And this kobold is just terrified to the point where it just drops its weapons, gets down on its knees, and raises its hands in the air and just...
Well, if I'm not mistaken, hand axes are light weapons, correct?
Correct, but Mal used her bonus action for Hex.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to throw it, and then I forgot that I used my bonus action to move my hex. That's why I had that pause at the beginning. So I was going to do one and then throw the other, and I forgot. It's okay. One more for Lance.
So this kobold seems to be surrendering, and if you would still like to go into initiative, though, Lance, it is your go. You are next in the order here, because Fleeple is stable.
I am going to... I'm like, why don't I hear anything? I'm going to walk slowly forward using my movement. 5, 10, 15, 20, where I get to the corner here, I guess. And the whole time I'm going, Malamara, is everything all right?
As you come around this corner, you see this room is very different from the few seconds ago when you left it. There is a bunch of carnage just everywhere, and there are fewer kobolds in this room than when that started in this room when you had left. The 3 having been removed due to Arms of Hadar. So there's only one live kobold that is on its knees and its hand is in the air about 20 feet from your current location.
I'm just going to take a second and look around at all the carnage and lack of bodies also, because they all got pulled into the ground, some of them did. I'm just going to look at Malamara with a kind of good on you, and I'm rethinking a lot. But then I'm gonna look at that kobold who's like surrendering, like, oh no. And I'm just gonna look at him and I'm just gonna kind of smile to myself. I'm gonna be like, you don't get to do that. And I'm gonna run up with my bonus action to him and stab him with my short sword.
Okay, go and roll an attack.
Because I'm really mad that they caused Fleeple to fall. Oh yeah, that's a 24 to hit.
That's a hit.
9 damage.
Without issue. This kobold is gone. And you find yourself in a room just silent. The only thing making a noise is Lance and Mal breathing.
All right, Malamara, I know it looks like everyone's dead, but I heard something. There's something here. I think there's something like hidden. It was laughing. It was maniacal. Ha 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 ha. And it's kind of like that. Yeah, I'm not very good at it. But there's something here. We need to be aware.
Do you, she'll kind of patter sides. Do you have a healing potion? I don't.
Fleeple's at the stairs. He looks like he's breathing. He's calm. He's oddly smiling. And
I'm going to go check on Fleeple. Do you want to see where this other catacomb, there's a stairway that goes down?
Will you
just be really sneaky and find out what's down there? Don't let anybody see you. And I need to clean up. And she'll shake some blood off of her armor.
Okay, just be aware. There's something else here.
All right. And then she'll go check on Fleeple.
Okay. So, as Mal shakes off the gore from her and goes to check on Fleeple walking up the steps, Lance preparing to look further down into the steps, just barely outside of this room, you have left this pack of kobolds. You've laid them to rest. And as you move forward to see what is next in your adventure, that's where we'll end this week's episode of I Cast Fireball. Wow!
Dude, I have never thought of doing a Warlock Barbarian multi-class before, but it turns out it freaking rules.
Very OP.
Right?
The downside, I think people don't do it because when you're raging, you can't cast spells. And so I was like trying to use up my spell slots
Gotta pick your moment
before I
carefully.
was raging. But with this cleave, that was game changer.
Yeah.
Tasty, tasty Dungeon Master's Guide.
Yep.
It's true. Cleave just makes sense, really, like when you got a lot of little characters or level of characters as well.
Yeah.
So
One of the ones I was reading was it
absolutely.
essentially works as a melee first round area effect. That like, if you can't do enough damage, it doesn't matter to cleave. But if you are surrounded by little guys, it's hard to be a melee and do that. So I was like, that's a good.
That was a good
explanation
lookup.
for that.
That was really good.
Like Jeremy Crawford says, the Dungeon Master's Guide is the grandmother's attic of D&D. If you're wondering where it is, it's probably in the Dungeon
Probably
Master's
in
Guide.
there.
There you go.
I've read it once cover to cover, but it's probably like at 1 a.m. when I was like, I read it, I finished it, so I got to go through it again. Well, on that note, thanks everybody. We're gonna wrap up this week's episode of I Cast Fireball. As always, we hope you've enjoyed listening as much as we have obviously been enjoying playing. Now, wherever you get your podcast from, please feel free to leave us a review. You could also email us at icastfireball2020@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you, and as always, are hoping to get the word out there and set this podcast on fire. Speaking of 5-star reviews, somebody left us one this past week, and that was Roy Angel. Roy, who we shouted out previously on the podcast, said that they cannot get enough of I Cast Fireball, that it's been a pleasure to listen to with engaging characters and storytelling, but the thing that warmed my heart and everybody here at I Cast Fireball the most was them saying that it was the feeling of being around a game table, from skill checks to attack rolls, that balances story, game, and a good time with friends. Roy, thank you so much for the 5-star review. It means the world to us, and it does let us know that you like what we're doing. And we just really, from day one, that was our goal, is to make sure that you get the balance of not only great storytelling, not only the intense nail-biting dice rolling that we have, but just having a good time with friends around a table. So if you want to get shouted on a future podcast, just like Roy did this week, leave us a 5-star review, and you could hear your own words on the following week's episode. To get the most recent up-to-date content, please follow us on our Instagram and Twitter with the handle ICastFireball20. There, you can get possible sneak peeks of upcoming episodes, interesting insights from players and DMs, behind-the-scenes shots of us making this incredibly fun world, and maybe some announcements. Now, we just want to give a quick shout out to our sister podcast, Improv Tabletop, where our resident kobold, Ned, takes a turn as a GM and runs through many one-month adventures using the Fate Accelerated tabletop system. Now, whether you like tabletop games, improvisation, or hearing more from Ned, we recommend you go give them a listen. Like, subscribe, and share with your friends and fellow wacky adventurers. But until next time, I'm Thomas, your DM, and around the table we've got
Malamara.
Lance Thalen.
And Fleeple.
Keep that fire going, everybody, and we'll see you next time.